Chris Lynch with ePark Canterbury. Park at 264 Russell Road and go in the draw to win a trip to Samoa. eParkcanterbury.co.nz.
So what's your reaction and analysis to the new name of Te Kaha?
Yes, One New Zealand Stadium. It is outstanding. It's a 10-year deal. Venues Otatahi and has done a fantastic job getting this across the line. I'd like to thank One New Zealand for throwing their sponsorship behind it for 10 years. Absolutely outstanding.
10 years seems like quite a significant time. Are you surprised that they've secured this contract for that amount of time, or is that usual in this business world?
Oh, I'm not sure, but it is a long length of time, and all credit to everyone who got together and did it. And it is going. I've said it once, and I'll say it again. I want Christchurch to be the sporting and events capital of New Zealand, and this is certainly going to go a long way towards it.
So just remind us, this stadium will have, 36,000 concert capacity. I mean, that's
Correct.
significant. That's now, world class, isn't it?
Oh, it is. Yeah. I was actually lucky enough to go down there earlier in the week with Minister Chris Bishop, and I stood on the concourse. There's a lot of conjecture of whether the concourse was a good thing or not. I'll tell you what, mate, it's outstanding. It's really good.
I started to get used to the word Te Kaha, so does that become obsolete, or will that still be used to perhaps surrounding areas? What happens now?
The area itself is still Te Kaha. Yep.
Okay. Speaking of the area itself, I know there was a lot of to and froing when it comes to the roads around that stadium. What's the latest with that? Because I know there was mixed messages at one stage from what the government was considering and how much money the council would put in. Where are we at with those details, Phil?
Right where we're at the moment, there is we've got to put new stormwater pipes and sewer and water and stuff like that in. That is on budget. That's happening probably almost as we speak. That's going ahead. We are playing, because the government have backed off a little bit on how much money they may give us towards it. We've either got to pay for it ourselves or back off on some of the stuff. One of the streets was going to go all the way back to Morehouse Ave. That part may not happen because we'll just have to cut our cloth to suit.
The stadium is due to open when, and is it on time, and is it on budget?
It is certainly on time and on budget, and it's late March, early April 2026.
Because we now have a stadium with a name, One New Zealand Stadium, does that signify more than just naming rights? Does it also suggest now that, stadiums in the main don't make money, they're loss-making ventures, there's no surprise there, but does that mean that this will perhaps decrease ongoing operational costs to council as a result of the naming rights?
Oh, absolutely. I have no idea, and it's none of my business what they've put towards the naming rights, but it is certainly going to help operational expense. But fear not, Waimak and so on, I'm still going to come out and ask you if you can help us with operational costs.
Have they said anything yet? What's the latest for that, Phil? Are they put their hand up or not yet?
No, well, I've always said, look, we're very lucky. The government gave us the land. The government gave us a whole lot of money towards it, and that's the taxpayer has paid that. And we can handle building it. It's costing a bit for rates increase, 2.1% just for Te Kaha itself. But the running of it is where the real cost is going to be. And my two neighbours are certainly open to the conversation of helping us with operational expense. They haven't said no to that.
What is your message for, Christchurch residents about the new naming of the stadium?
Oh, I think it's wonderful because it'll give it a focus. It'll give it some. There it is. It's one New Zealand stadium. Like that's it's the number one in New Zealand. So it's great, and it is.
Gee, the Liberals won't be happy with the word New Zealand, will they? They'll be crying, won't they? They'll hate the fact that something's called New Zealand these days. It's not trendy, is it, Phil?
They'll get over it. They'll build a bridge.
Well, we've built a stadium so they can cry all they like. Let's move on to other matters now. Begging in Christchurch, aggressive beggars. And there is a distinction that I think needs to be made between aggressive begging and actually people who are just doing it tough. It's more antisocial behaviour we're concerned about. So I know you had a discussion yesterday with council. What happens next, Phil? Are we looking at a bylaw or what?
Well, we work towards staff will come back to us with a report. If it goes to a bylaw, that's pretty heavy-handed, but if it has to, it has to. But it is aggressive begging. You don't want people standing over you. There is homeless people that sit there, that they mind their own business. I would rather they weren't there, but that's the way it is. But when people are demanding money off you, that's not right, and people shouldn't have to put up with it.
I know there's been similar bylaws in Auckland and Wellington. Have they worked, do you think, though?
I'm not sure. I haven't got the background on that yet.
Okay, but that is something that, I mean, what is the reason it's telling you? Is it a problem? Do you feel like it's a problem, or is it just a problem that's moved from one end of, say, Stanmore Road to the other? What's your sense of on the matter?
It does move around. Since we've had this sort of the roving security crews in town, it's backed off of, in the city, it's backed off of it there. Maybe we need to move them out into the suburbs, and I actually think that is happening. So we've just got to just manage it.
Okay. The government has announced more details on building more homes in more concentrated areas. What are your thoughts on this? Because I thought initially this was seen as a bad thing, but is this now considered a good thing? What do you know? What's your reaction to that announcement, Phil?
Well, the announcement that came out this morning by Minister Chris Bishop is outstanding in my view, because it also lets more land go out for rezoning. One of the problems that we've had for years is that not this council, but all councils have been restricting the land that goes out for to be able to be built on. And that's artificially driven up the price of sections. So this can only be a good thing if there's more land to develop. Other people will dive in. No, they might develop this and might develop that, but there'll be more available. So it's just like strawberries at the supermarket at Christmas. There's not many. They cost a bloody fortune. So this is going to be good.
Well, that is a good thing. Opening up more land is what we need, isn't it? Because we've got, a very fast-moving population. Speaking of fast, I know the council had discussions yesterday about the government's plan to, in some respects, reverse some of the speed limits around Christchurch. I think just a quick example is some of the 30 to 40k zones. This is excluding schools, by the way, but in Christchurch, they may go back to 50 k's an hour. This, I'm judging by the Facebook comments, this is universally supported. But then there are city councillors who say this is the worst thing ever. In fact, I note, what's her name now? It's gone out of my head. One of the councillors said the government was on a collision course with communities. Is she overplaying it, or do you share her concerns?
I think it's possibly being overplayed a little bit. There is no doubt around the council table that schools are sacrosanct. We've got to look after our kids no matter what happens. We put in submission to the government. Whether they listen to it, it's up to them. But we've done what we're asked to do, and we'll see what comes from it. But schools are absolutely no-go area. Got to leave them alone.
Christchurch Mayor Phil Mauger, good to see you. Thanks so much for your time.